What's up, fellow fantasy-loving friends? This is Josh from RSMP Tabletop, and I'm excited because today's video is sponsored by Off the Wall Games in Hadley, Massachusetts. When I first set out to make this channel and I discovered Games Workshop and the 40K universe, I wasn't really that excited about 40K because the games are really big, they take a long time to play, you need a lot of pieces, and there's a lot of rules. However, in the Warhammer universe, there were two games that really did catch my attention. One being Kill Team and the other being Necromunda. Kill Team's pretty cool because you use like a small faction of guys to go on and basically battle other small factions of guys, but it's basically just game to game. Necromunda has a little bit more of a story element to it, so basically things that happen to you in one game can affect you not only in the next game, but essentially through the rest of your campaign as well. So let's jump over to Off the Wall Games, find out a little bit more about what it entails to play Necromunda. And I guess this is where the rule of cool starts. You need to figure out who you want to play. So I chose House of Blades, Escher Gang. So after you decide who you want to play and you get your models, the first thing you need to do is figure out what army you're going to build. In Necromunda, when you start your game, you have 1,000 points to make your team. Each character costs a certain amount of credits, and then you can give them weapons and armor and upgrades that cost additional credits.
Points. I'm taking a lot of unnecessary risks.
I noticed you're ranting swiftly.
Yeah, I made it this far.
Okay, sure.
But now I have to start playing tryhards.
Get hit with that fresh plastic when you open the box. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, you're gonna love all that.
Nice.
And these are like to make the box art
Yep.
characters.
Oh, really?
Like you don't have to make them with these weapons.
Yeah.
So you can kind of mix and match.
Nice. The Death Maiden excites me the most, so I just want to try to build her first.
They look so cool.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm just like intrigued by her, so that's gonna be my starting point. And we'll go from there.
All with some plastic glue, some snippers, some instructions that are labeled with numbers that correspond on the sprue with the piece that you're looking for. You should be able to, in theory, create the awesome art that's on the box. However, I'm not sure I'm gonna quite get there in this first build. That's not what it's about. It's about the experience and the fun. And so you gotta start by cutting all the pieces out, and this takes time, but I wanted to go down to Off the Wall while I did this part because it's cool to be around the community. You know, we saw earlier Jacob come over and talk to me and give me some tips and pointers and stuff, and it's just about the sounds of the game store. Like, yeah, sure, I could have stayed at home and built these myself, but again, for me, it's about the community, and this is why I do this stuff. I don't remember exactly how long it took, but I want to say it was around 2.5, maybe 3 hours to get my initial army built, and that's just to get them assembled. We haven't even primed or painted them yet, but I guess it's time to probably head out and do that now. First, I primed with black, and then I went around and from the top down and at a 45-degree angle, I sprayed this bone white down. I did a little bit of research on the internet because I'm not a painter, and like I said, this is really my first time building or doing any of this stuff with Warhammer, but this method is known as the zenithal priming method, and it's supposed to make a little bit more contrast in your painting. So I guess we're gonna see if it works. I decided to use Army Painter Speed Paint since I'm new to painting and I don't really know what else to use. It just seemed like this was a good starting point. It's supposed to go on easy, it's supposed to dry and give you some different contrasts, so it's almost like you did multiple coats or some additional techniques, but you really don't have to. The paint kind of does it for you. As you can tell, I'm extraordinarily shaky and I don't really have a technique. But again, as I've said in this video twice already, it does not matter. For the painting and the building, I didn't think that's what was gonna hook me in Warhammer, but every time I've tried to paint or build, I'll set a timer for like an hour, hour and a half, and every time I've done it, I've far exceeded that. I'll finally stop around like 4 to 5 hours, and the time just flies by because I was truly having a lot of fun with what I was doing. And you know, when you're painting and you're starting off, like, you don't have to be all that great. I make mistakes, I get stuff in the wrong areas. I didn't even figure out a color scheme. I looked at my piece and I decided, like, you know what, I want to try this color here. So for me, the painting was a lot about experimenting and just having fun with it. But I'll be honest, as this started to kind of shape up and as I started to get a little bit more technique and fall into a more comfortable flow, I was actually pretty impressed with how my pieces started to turn out. Yes, these aren't professional and they're not even done, but I think for my starting point, I'm actually off to a pretty good start. So now that all the pieces are built and I have a little bit of paint on them, I guess it's probably time to pack up and think about heading back over to Off the Wall Games in Hadley, Massachusetts, because it's time to play. One of the things that I love about Necromunda is the terrain, the colors, and just the striking atmosphere of the game. Even though you may play the game over the course of 45 minutes to 2 hours, realistically the entire battle that you're playing takes place in just a few minutes. You're running, you're diving, you're shooting, you're reloading, and the game's just a lot of fun. Yeah, you're using technical ability and tactics, but you're also relying on dice to make the game fun and exciting. The other thing that makes the game fun and exciting is the people that you play against, because they have a different army with a different backstory that had different things happen to their characters along their campaign, and getting to laugh and joke and hang out and talk about those things are really what makes this game so enjoyable. Jacob, as we can see here, is honestly one of my favorite people to play any tabletop board games with ever, because his personality is just amazing. He laughs, he jokes, he makes the sounds and the noises, and he honestly just puts so much effort into the game, it just brings it to the next level and makes it that much more exciting. So I've started my campaign off now at 0-4. That means I haven't won a single game. But to be honest, that hasn't discouraged me in the slightest bit, and it hasn't made me upset. I've really enjoyed every single game that I've played. Every time I step to the table, I learn something new, I meet somebody new, and whatever I pick up that game or the mistakes that I've made, it lets me correct them or play better the next game. And that's exciting because it's a way where you can actually track and see your progress getting better and better. If you've learned anything from watching this channel, or if you gain anything from these videos, I just want to reiterate one more time. Life is very short and we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So you should spend each and every moment as happy as you can possibly be. So thank you for watching the video today. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share. It honestly helps out a lot. And if you haven't yet, head over to Off the Wall Games in Hadley, Massachusetts and check it out. It's a great place to play. There's a ton of really cool people. And if Necromunda is not your game, they do have a ton of other games and they'll take the time to find out what game fits you the best and they'll get you playing on the table. Until next time, stay safe.